Hi everyone, Dr. Laura Pence here with Understanding Your Greatest Self. So it's Thursday, right? And we, in the month of April, what are we talking about? We're talking about emotions, right? We're talking about how do I manage, how do I handle my emotions? Now on Tuesday, I walked you through an exercise of exploring the judgments that you have about emotions. Because let's face it, we've all got judgments. You're not out there judgment-free thinking that like everything is fine and dandy. We all have judgments. Some of us, our judgments are just a little bit more intense than other people, but we've all got them. It's important to just know it, own it, and then we can change it, right? So that was Tuesday's episode, exploring the judgments you have about feelings. Today, we're going to talk about where do your feelings and judgments about your emotions come from, okay? And most importantly, where did you learn to move towards certain emotions and move away from other emotions, okay? So one of the reasons why it's important to kind of explore this is because we all grow up feeling more comfortable in one certain arena with feelings than another, right? So some of us grow up and we might feel super comfortable with joyous emotions and being excited and being surprised. Others might grow up actually not being comfortable in that arena, right? Like feeling really uncomfortable being surprised or joyous or excited. And so it's important to kind of know where those feelings come from. Like where were you taught and how did you learn which emotions to move towards and which emotions to move away from? Now, oftentimes, and if you kind of dig deep into the messages that were sent to you as a kid, you might begin to have an awareness around that there are certain emotions that you were encouraged either not to feel, not to express, or not to pay attention to. Usually those are the emotions that might be more painful in nature, right? So anger or frustration or shame or sadness, right? You might have received the message like, don't bother paying attention to those, just try and be happy, right? Or something of that nature. But in our lifetime and in our past, and as we grew up, we all received messages about which emotions were okay to move towards and which emotions we wanted or we were encouraged to move away from. Now, why that's important for you to think about like today in the present is because you actually may be repeating that same pattern, right? So like as a kid, if you were encouraged to avoid things that made you afraid, right? And as an adult, you now find yourself incredibly fear avoidant. Hello, like link there, right? So I want you to just think about, and your key question of the week is, where do my feelings about emotions come from? Right? Do they come from the family in which I was raised? Do they come from my teachers? Do they come from my siblings? Do they come from past experiences that I had with certain emotions? Where do those feelings about emotions come from? Where was I taught to move towards certain emotions and move away from other emotions? And what I mean by that move towards and move away is that, again, like as a child, let's say you were taught, don't be an angry kid, which by the way is like such a pointless thing to say, but like if that's what you were taught as a kid, don't be an angry child, make sure that you're happy. You were taught to move towards happiness and move away from anger. Okay, that's what I mean about like the moving towards and moving away. So that's your key question of the week, right? So where did your feelings about emotions come from? And where were you taught to move towards certain feelings and move away from other feelings? Okay, so come back next week. On Tuesday, we're going to dive into, and we're going to spend the whole week, Tuesday and Thursday, talking about how do I identify my emotions and how do I regulate my emotions once they're identified. Super important because, again, as human beings, we've got to understand how we're feeling and we've got to respond to it in ways that are appropriate and in ways that serve us for showing up on this planet the way that we were meant to. Okay. Subscribe, hit that button if you haven't hit it yet already. Also, write some comments down below. Like, what are you liking? What are you not liking? What's your jam? What's not your jam? What do you want to see me talk about? Where do you want me to be quiet? All of that stuff, okay? I'm up for it. Share. And share with friends. Send them the video, send them the link, let them know, hey, this was super awesome, because it was, and I want you to see it. Okay, I'll see you next week. What's up, everybody? Dr. Laura Pence here. Video series.